What is up, my YouTube audience? This is Malachi Branch Productions here, and today we got another tier list video. But not just any tier list video, this is a duo tier list video. Yeah, if you saw my YouTube community tab post, my most recent one, you'll know what it is, but if you didn't see that, we are going to be doing a double tier list for two specific, networks. Now, neither of these I've actually done any freaking tier list videos on. I mean, I've done multiple for Nickelodeon before, and I've done at least one on Cartoon Network, but I've never done one on Disney Channel, so I decided, you know what? Time to tell you guys how I'd show you guys how I would rank the shows on there, but we are not just doing Disney Channel for this one, we are also doing one on Kids WB, which I've never done one on that either, so yeah, with Kids WB, there are some shows that you'll recognize on this tier list, maybe from other network tier list videos we've done, or from other tier list videos we've done. I don't know, but yeah. If you're asking why I'm doing 2 and 1 for this, well, it's because if I made a separate video on each one, both Disney Channel and Kids WB, they would be incredibly freaking short videos, and I wouldn't really have a whole lot of freaking things to say about them. So, yeah, we're going to be tackling both of these. Now, yeah, spoiler alert when it comes to the Disney Channel one, I'm not the hugest fan of Disney Channel. I said this in a recent live stream that I am interested in checking out the older shows, but where it currently stands now, I think it's the weakest of the three networks, even though I said before that I've kind of fallen off Nickelodeon, but still, I at least it has the 2000s period, and I had a lot of consistently good shows, so there's that. But yeah, let's just get on to the Disney Channel tier list. This tier list has a unique distinction among the other tier list videos. Can you see what it is? Yes, there is no S tier. Yeah, for this one, I decided to completely eradicate the S tier because I don't really think there is an S tier Disney Channel show out there. Yeah, I know, pretty freaking crazy, but yeah, I don't really think there are any Disney Channel shows at the moment. Again, at the moment, I'm saying that for a specific one. I just don't know. There's just, I mean, with Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, the thing about those networks is that they have shows that I think are distinctly S tier worthy, and shows that I really freaking like. Well, I mean, there are shows that I really liked from Disney Channel as well, but with Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network, they had standout shows that were really good, and I guess you'd say are among a league of their own for their networks. For Nickelodeon, we have SpongeBob Invaders Zim and Avatar: The Last Airbender, especially that last one. For Cartoon Network, there's freaking the Teen Titans '03 show. There's Code Lyoko. There's Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, both of these networks have a good number of shows that are really good. But with Disney Channel, again, at the moment, don't really have an S tier planned out. But we do have a couple in A tier. And again, these shows are really solid. And I'll try to go over the ones that I really can. So in A tier, we have Gravity Falls, Phineas and Ferb, Kim Possible, and Wander Over Yonder. Now, I do like all four of these shows, just figured I'd say that. But again, none of them cracking the S tier for now, at least. Again, sorry that I keep beating the fuck out of that term, but yeah, let's try to go over each show and I'll explain what I can. So, Gravity Falls, usually regarded as Disney Channel's magnum opus, if you will, and I don't quite like it as much as other people do. Now, do not get me wrong. Gravity Falls is a great show. It has very three-dimensional and great characters. The story is the storylines are pretty solid. The humor, I think there are some great moments of comedy in this show. But I don't really know. It's just, I wouldn't quite call it an all-time great cartoon like a lot of other people do. And how on the top 10's website it's at like number 4 or 5, yet alone has a spot higher than Avatar. I really question that. But Yeah, again, Gravity Falls, it was a pretty consistently solid show, I will say that. But, yeah, again, don't have a whole lot to say, it's just, and I can't even, no, I don't know how to quite say it, I just don't like it as much as other people do, I think that's a simple way of putting it, but, yeah, the next show we have is one you should probably expect to see in a tier list like this. Phineas and Ferb is the next show we're going to be talking about. Now, I've kind of fallen off a little bit of Phineas and Ferb. Now, don't get me wrong, I do still get a kick out of it. It is an entertaining show with great characters. Usually the jokes usually land. They don't all the time though, but usually they do. The storylines, even though it is kind of a bit formulaic in terms of just overall what happens, they do different things with the formula, so it's not completely just repetitive completely, so there's that. But I think the reason why I don't have Phineas and Ferb in an S tier placement, or why I don't like it as much, is okay, while the stuff with the kids is kind of interesting, or there is some good stuff that has been done with it. It really doesn't hold a candle to the stuff involving Dr. Doofenshmirtz and the Agent P or Perry the Platypus freaking segments. Like, those are by far the highlight of the show. And yeah, again, it's mainly, again, because I think that stuff, usually not only do they do more unique stuff with it, more interesting stuff with it, but again, considering you have to go through a lot of just pretty formulaic stuff, which again, I don't think is handled poorly, but again, it doesn't change the fact, at least in my eyes, that it does follow a formula, not necessarily to a T, but yeah, again, it is usually pretty similar throughout, but again, Phineas and Ferb I think is great, usually for the most part. Seasons 1 and 2 are good, season 3 is kind of meh, and season 4 does have some really good ones, but again, like, I don't like it nearly as much as I used to. Anyways, the next show we have is kind of difficult to explain, Kim Possible. Now, full disclosure, I have not seen a whole lot of Kim Possible, like, let me just say that, but from what I have seen of the show, it is pretty solid, I'll say that much. It is an entertaining show, but, okay, I think this is kind of a simple way here's an easier way I think I could put this. There is a meme out there, or kind of one gotta go type deal thing that's been going around. Which action show would you kick out, or which childhood show? I don't know why they didn't use the term action, because all four of these are action. That involves Kim Possible, Danny Phantom, Avatar, and the O3 Teen Titans. To put it simply, I would kick Kim Possible out if I had to remove one of them. Not because I think again Kim Possible is bad. It's just, I don't know, I think among the kind of big four, I guess you would say, it has the weakest characters, the weakest stories, doesn't have as much depth as the other three do. I think the humor is a bit less funny, but again, to be fair, this is going off of what I know. I do have that Kim Possible set, but I do have another show I'm still currently watching, but once I do finish the show I am watching, I will move on to watching more of Kim Possible, and who knows, maybe it might actually we might actually bring it into our S tier once I do watch more of it, but for now, it's content with the A tier placement, but, yeah, the next show we have is Wander Over Yonder, which, okay, again, it's been a while since I've seen it, but from what I remember of it, it's a pretty entertaining show, I will say that it's got a lot of charm to it, and yeah, again, that it seems like one of those shows that they did it treated pretty crappily. I don't even know if that's a word, but it did get treated pretty poorly by the network, by Disney Channel. But again, entertaining show, and surprisingly, the guy who actually made this show actually made Powerpuff Girls and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, the next tier we have is, yeah, we only have one show in the freaking B tier, and that is Star vs. the Forces of Evil. Now, this is just a question that I have, specifically for the physical media community, because, again, this is what I see it being noticed by. Why are there so many people that have this really huge hatred for the show, for Star vs. the Forces of Evil? Now, I'm not a big fan of the show, let me just say that. The only reason it's even really in B tier is just, I thought maybe like the first two or so seasons did have some entertaining stuff, but there are a lot of problems with the show. The main issue that I have with the show mainly is, okay, I know this is weird, but it's mainly the main character herself, Star herself. I think that's her name. She is a pretty stereotypical kind of Cal Arts, really bubbly, super energetic, crazy girl, and again, it's just that's a really shredded, that's a really repetitive type of character archetype that has been used a fuck ton in these shows in the Cal Arts style, and especially on Disney Channel. But again, for what it's worth, I don't think Star is a horrible season. Now, I've heard really bad stuff about the future seasons, about like the latest ones. But again, I haven't seen them, so I can't say. But for now, Star is decent enough to get a B tier. But yeah, this is where we start having more shows in these tiers. Yeah, let's talk about the C tier. So in C tier, we have The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, The Sweet Life on Deck, Liv and Maddie, Jesse, Tori in the Big House, Fish Hooks, and Buzz on Maddie. That is quite a bit of shows, and there's more shows in freaking C and D than there are in A and B. So yeah, I think that's pretty sad. But yeah, we're gonna tackle the shows in C tier. First, we'll start with live action sitcom Central, which is basically this is what C tier is. But yeah, first we have The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and Sweet Life on Deck. But yeah, I used to like Sweet Life, don't get me wrong. Like, I thought it was a pretty entertaining show. It was pretty funny. I don't know why, but it really doesn't sit well with me nowadays. Now, again, for what it's worth, it is one of the better Disney sitcoms I've seen, but I guess the humor just really is not for me. And what show do I find better? I think I might have to say On Deck has maybe some better episodes here and there, but again, nowadays I don't really think either show is. I'm not really that into them anymore, and I still have yet to freaking sell my DVDs that I have of that show. But yeah, the next one we have is Liv and Maddie, kind of the same thing. Well, I was actually never really into the show, but again, compared to the other Disney sitcoms, there are. It's not that bad. Like it has some merit here and there, like there. Or maybe a couple moments that I kind of laughed at, and maybe the characters, again, weren't super intolerable or anything, but again, I really do not like Disney Channel sitcoms, I just gotta say that. But yeah, the next show we have is Jesse, and I don't know how to feel about this show. Now, it's kind of the similar deal to the other shows, like the other sitcoms we talked about, but this one is probably one of the weakest ones in this tier because, well, I really don't like the freaking acting, but like the one thing that does butcher Jesse is the acting is really poor. Now, I'm not an expert in acting myself, but that doesn't mean that what I'm saying is really all that. Okay, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but yeah, the main reason why I'm not a fan of Jesse is its acting, and I mean, again, the characters, they're not too bad, and the humor, well, okay, the humor is actually another reason why I don't like this show, but again, compared to other Disney Channel sitcoms that we'll talk about later, it's really not that bad. But okay, the next one we have is Cory in the House, or as I dub it now, Cory in the Big House, because the guy who played Cory is a fucking pedo. But yeah, again, really below average freaking Disney Channel sitcom. Now, I love the memes surrounding the show. Like, don't get me wrong, the memes regarding Cory in the House are actually pretty funny, but the show itself, not really all that good. Again, its humor is pretty similar to Sweet Life, but it's not done nearly as well, which again is definitely not a good thing because I don't even really like Sweet Life that much. So yeah, the next show we have is Fish Hooks. Now, credit where credit is due, I think this show is overhated by a lot of people. Now, again, as you can tell by its placement, it's really not that high on the list, but the people who are saying the show is terrible, like, you guys need to calm the fuck down. It's not that bad, but again, that being said, it's not all that good either. I don't know, it kind of feels like one of those shows where you're like, Mom, I want, if it'd be like if a kid said, Mommy, I want SpongeBob, and then they're like, you already have SpongeBob at home, and then they hand you this. Again, it's just not horrible, and again, I think it's more overhated than it is bad, but again, just not a fan of the show. And Buzz on Maggie, I just think fine. Again, I haven't seen a whole lot of the show, but what I have seen, not impressed. But yeah, now we have the D tier, which has even more shows in it. Well, okay, I think there's actually like the C and D tier have literally the exact same amount of shows in them. But yeah, the shows we have in D tier are Austin and Ally, Shake It Up, Dog with Blood, Ant Farm, So Random, Hannah Montana, and Shorty Means Short Shorts. You know what? I don't even have very many very unique things to say about the live action sitcoms in D tier, so I'll just give a quick fire round on why I think all of them are pretty trash. So Austin and Ally, really cringy, painfully boring, wouldn't recommend it. Shake It Up, a show that very much does mean-spiritedness in a very wrong way. Again, I don't hate everything mean-spirited, but the show really doesn't do it well. The characters are just really trashy, humor not fucking good. Just a lot of really bad stuff that surrounds this show. Not with a Blood, by far one of the worst fucking Disney Channel sitcoms. Humor, very cringy. Characters are very poor. Just not a good show. Ant Farm, same thing. Literally have nothing else to say about it. So random. The skits are incredibly boring. Well, okay, except for the one skit where they had like freaking an impersonation of Fred and Taylor Swift. I thought that was kind of funny, but other than that, basically the poor man's all that. I think that's what the name of that show is, but yeah, basically just the poor man's all that. Hannah Montana, by far the worst Disney Channel sitcom of all time. The show is fucking garbage. It's not funny. The characters are really shitty. Songs are cringy. Just really bad show overall. And Shorty Mitch Short Shorts, probably like my least favorite freaking Disney Channel cartoon, like animated show. Yeah, the show is really not all too good. The shorts in this show, they either range from all right to trash. And yeah, again, it's basically, again, one thing I could describe a lot of freaking Disney Channel shows are basically just the lesser equivalent of shows from other networks. And yeah, Shorty Much Short Shorts is basically the poor man's oh what a cartoon, and oh yeah, cartoons. But yeah, that's trying to do it for the Disney Channel tier list. Again, really was not positive here, but now we are going to move on to the next tier list where I have a lot more positive things to say about the show. So yeah, the Kids WB tier list. Yeah, this tier list was really easy to do because a lot of these shows are ones that I've talked about before and shows that I've aired on other networks, which is very convenient for me because, again, we have a lot more shows that I like here. So, yeah, the top three that I have in this tier list are Teen Titans 03, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Codename Kids Next Door. So, I think some of these I've already explained before a lot in other tier lists, so I'll spare you the reasons. So, with Teen Titans, this one I'll explain mainly the top three, well, mainly top two, but yeah, Teen Titans, by far one of my favorite cartoons of all time, and one of the best shows in the action genre. I've mentioned Avatar before in this video before and in other videos, and while I think Teen Titans is not as good as Avatar, it's still by far one of Kids WB's best shows. Well, I mainly know it for being on Cartoon Network, but again, Teen Titans, fantastic storylines, great characters, great character development. The show touches on a lot of deep subjects and dark themes, and it handles them very well. Just, theme songs fucking Bob. There's a lot of things to love about the other Teen Titans, and I think it deserves this top three placement. But yeah, Spectacular Spider-Man, again, another very good show. I think I actually like this a little bit less than Teen Titans, I'm just gonna be real, but again, by far one of the best Spider-Man cartoons without a shadow of a fucking doubt. Characters are very entertaining across the board. It's one of the rare shows where I feel like everyone, and I do mean everyone, actually does go through at least a little bit of character development. Like, everyone in the show is different from the end of the episode than they were in the start of the show, but yeah, the show really freaking deserves a season 3. I think we can all agree on that, but yeah, not a whole lot to say about the show, just really good action cartoon, one of my favorites in the genre at that. So, Codename Kisses Door, this is the one that I don't have a whole lot to say, because I've explained why I love this show so much in other tier list videos I've done, so I might as well just link you my tier list video, so my tier list playlist, so you guys can see those. But yeah, to cut it short, Codename Kisses Door, great characters, great humor, very well written, very consistently good across all 6 seasons. Great Cartoon Network show and Kids WB show. It's not my favorite anymore, and it's actually not even in my top 3 Cartoon Network shows anymore, but again, still fantastic show. Anyways, the shows we have in the great tier, which is the next one, we have Dragon Ball Z, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Powerpuff Girls 1998, Samurai Jack, and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Again, most of these shows I really do like, but yeah, let's go by each one. Dragon Ball Z in great tier. Yeah, I'm not as positive. Well, I don't love Dragon Ball Z as much as when I was a younger kid, but I do still like this show quite a bit. The action is usually very good. Characters, at least in the earlier parts of Z, they kind of sidelined a lot of the characters in the later Z seasons and even in freaking, like, the later Dragon Ball franchise shows. But Z, mostly good characters when they do actually pay attention to them. Surprisingly, there's actually some strong moments of character development here, which is pretty insane from a show like this, but yeah, I didn't really like the show for the most part. When it comes to its fillers, there's some that I like, some that I don't, but yeah, Dragon Ball Z, pretty good show, but yeah, the next show we have is Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, while I'm usually not a fan of these types of shows revolving around, like, card games or children's type fucking dueling games, I don't know how to even describe this genre, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the one that I actually get a kick out of. Mainly because of its characters, I like the story, surprisingly, and while there is some cheesy, corny shit in this anime, if you look underneath it, there is genuine depth, there's great characters. Again, I feel like they just said this before, but yeah, good characters for the most part. Most of them are developed well enough. The duels there's some really great duels in this show. And yeah, just really like Yu-Gi-Oh! Mainly the original series. Haven't really watched much of GX or 5Ds or Zetzel or whatever the fuck's out now, but yeah, great show. Powerpuff Girls can't quite go super in depth with this one, but it is a very charming show. I do really like most of the characters. Well, I mainly like the show for its side characters. Well, maybe not side characters, but mainly the villains. I think they really make Powerpuff Girls so entertaining. And I mean, the 3 girls, they're good as well, but I also really liked the humor in this show. Well, at least in the first 4. 5 and 6 are kind of just there, if you ask me. Not horrible, but not great either. But yeah, Powerpuff Girls, great show. Samurai Jack, I don't have a whole lot to say about this, just, well, it's been a while since I've seen it, but great Cartoon Network show. But yeah, then we have Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which okay, even though I put this in great tier, how do I describe it? It's basically my least favorite good cartoon, I guess you'd say, or great cartoon. Because, don't get me wrong, I think it's great character-wise. Humor is good. Stories are good. Just, I don't know. There's something about this show that doesn't hit me as much as other shows. And I don't know. I just don't like watching it as much as other ones. But again, it is a solid show, and I'll give credit where credit's due. Anyways, in the good tier, well, we kind of have a bit less to say about these lower tiers, but, yeah, good tier, we have Mega Man NT Warrior and Kirby Right Back at Ya. Now, from what I remember of these 2 shows, I think I have seen a couple episodes from these 2, pretty solid, I will say that. Definitely am on the higher echelon of shows based on video games, but again, I don't really have a huge interest in watching more of these shows. Maybe I might down the line, but again, right where they stand, they're just in good tier. But yeah, now we have the decent / meh category, which again, don't really have a whole lot of shows in, just 3. Johnny Test, Pokemon, and Eon Kid. That last one might be a bit interesting, but yeah, Johnny Test, by far one of the most overhated shows I've seen. The reason why it's in kind of the decent slash mid tier now, if seasons 4 and 5 were as good as 1 through 3, it would be in good tier, and who knows, it would have probably even been in great tier, if I'm being honest, but I don't know, just seasons 4 and 5, the humor and the writing, they severely went down in those two seasons, but 1 through 3, they're actually surprisingly pretty well written, I'll say that, but, yeah, character-wise, again, 1 through 3 at least, they're fine enough. Again, humor, actually kind of good, but, yeah, again, just not a whole lot to say about Johnny Test in terms of its modern stuff, because it's really not that good, but, yeah, Pokemon, not even gonna explain that one. You guys know how I feel about Pokemon. You guys know I don't like Pokemon. Just, again, watch the tier list videos and you'll know why I don't like it. Anyways, Eon Kid. Yeah, this is, fell off quite a bit, actually, just compared to what I first felt about it. Now, when I first watched it, I did make fun of it a foot ton. Then when I watched a couple more episodes, I actually liked it, surprisingly. Now I just feel genuinely no interest in watching any more of the show. Again, it's not a fair replacement because I haven't watched a whole lot of it. I'll just say that about a lot of shows here, actually. But again, I'm sorry I always compare this show to other shows, but again, it really is just Avatar, but done way less good, or it's done way less effectively, I guess you'd say. But yeah, Iron Kid, very uninteresting characters, well, mainly annoying characters. They're really not into the story, the action scenes, they're not that great. I just don't like Eon Kid, and its theme song is kind of ass. I'm just gonna be real with you there. I think the theme song's kind of weak, but yeah, in the bad tier, this will be the last segment we'll be talking about. The two shows in this tier are Captain Planet and Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island. So, Captain Planet, really not a fan of this show. Like, really do not freaking like this one. Why exactly do I dislike it? Well, it has aged like fucking milk. Yeah, this is by far one of the most product of its time shows I've freaking seen. If you're asked what the show usually revolves around, or what the show revolves around itself, it's basically, how else do I put it other than environmentalist propaganda? Like, yeah, this is kind of one of those Save the Earth shows, and it really doesn't touch its subjects in a very mature or, in all honesty, really good or real way. It was made to, basically, I don't know how to quite describe it, but basically try to brainwash kids in the okay, I don't know how else to put it, just Captain Planet, really corny, really cringy, really just would not recommend this show at all. But, yeah, the last show we have is Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island, probably one of the absolute worst shows of all time. At least in terms of cartoons, at least. But, yeah, this show, it deserves to be freaking forgotten. If you're asking why I don't like it, again, don't have a whole lot to say, just bad characters, bad humor, really cheap animation. It's basically, again, just like SpongeBob, but really bad is a way of putting it. Anyways, I'm sorry I rambled on about a lot of the bottom tiers in these segments. It's just really hard to explain why I dislike them or are really indifferent to them. And that kind of explains, again, why they're in the lower tiers, because I don't really have anything to say about them. But, yeah, anyways, I am Malachi Branch Productions, and see you guys in the next video.